So you want to be a mental health professional? I got you. Tonight we're going to review 10 mental health careers, some even that don't require a master's degree, and a few that don't even require a bachelor's degree. All will require some type of education or, you know, certification or some type of learning is going to be involved. But not all mental health careers require you to have a ton of schooling. So that's what we're going to review today. Welcome and welcome back. If you are new here, I am Tisha. I am a resident in counseling. I've been a mental health professional for over 15 years. I am also a qualified mental health professional. That's a designation that we have here in Virginia. And I'm also a certified substance abuse counselor. So I've been in the field for quite a while, and I've worked in several different types of jobs and careers. And I often get questioned about, how do I get into mental health? I want to help people. I'm interested in working here. I want to do this type of job. So I'm here to help you with that. So in full disclosure, this live was about to get canceled, but I was like, no, I'm gonna press through. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over the careers and we'll talk briefly about each. We'll name the actual career, the education requirements, what someone would do in that type of position, and then we'll add, as we go. It is a little chit chatty, a little conversational. And then as we are discussing, and if you have any questions, just go ahead and put the question in the chat and I'll try my best to answer it. We'll be building this document. And when we finish the live, I'll put the document in the link of the description. And anyone that sees this video will have access to the document. So I'll build a chart, and whatever career we go over, you'll have access to the document. It'll be a Google Doc. So that way you can refer back to it if you're interested in a mental health career or if you want to pass along the info. So let's get started. The number one question I get asked about mental health careers is, how much schooling do I have to do? For some reason, people think, I ain't gonna say they don't think, because some careers do require a lot of schooling. Let's see who's in here. And hey, playback people. Hey, playback people. As soon as you come in, please like and subscribe. Go ahead, I'll wait. Go ahead, and if you're already in here, go ahead, like the video, subscribe to the channel. I see you, playback. I appreciate you. You also can get in on it as you watch. Please comment, ask questions. I promise you I will respond to every single question. And again, everyone will have access to the Google Doc. But anyway, that's what everyone has a question about. They're like, I want to work in the mental health field, but I don't want to go back to school. I don't want to have to go to school. I don't want to have to get another master's, or I don't want to have to go get a master's. And I always tell everyone the same thing. You can work in the mental health field and not work in a position where you have to get a master's degree or beyond. Now, you might have to get creative about, you have to get clear about how much money you want to make, what type of tasks you want to do, things like that. But, and I also let everyone know that you're always going to be required to have some type of training. You are dealing with people's, lives here. It's every single soft skill required you're going to use when you are working in the mental health field. And we'll get more into that too. So I'm going to do something a little different. Usually people start with the obvious, being a mental health therapist or a mental health counselor. I'm going to put it in order from least required educational requirements up into the most. And then we'll briefly talk and then we'll be done. If you have questions as I'm speaking, I'll check the comment section and I'll make sure. Hey, does it look good? Can you see it on your screen? Or do I need to make the picture bigger? I'm going to try to share my screen too. So let's look at tonight's objective. So you want to be a mental health professional. Obviously, if you are watching this video, you are interested, or someone might be interested, or you want to pass along information. We're going to talk about the actual careers, the education requirements, and the skill requirements, because you're going to be required to have soft skills and hard skills in order to navigate in these types of positions. All right. So I'm going to try to share my screen, y'all. Now, this is what I'm not feeling. I'm not sure if you guys are going to be able to see. Oh, listen! Hallelujah! Let me put on my glasses. Listen, I've been tussling with this share screen. I've been tussling, y'all. I was like, you know what? I'm about to have a meltdown. But then I was like, I'm going to figure it out. Okay, so please let me know if this is large enough. This is the document that we're going to be building live together right now. And I'm going to put the link in the description when this live is done. And you, all of you, everyone, yes, you, and everyone who watches this video or who has access to this video will have access to this link. You won't be able to change it because what if 1 million people see this? I don't want, everybody making changes. However, you can absolutely see it. I want everyone to have this information. And then if you are interested in more topics about career, just let me know in the comments. Make sure you drop those green hearts, of course, and also let me know what you are interested in, because I want to make videos y'all interested in. Remember, we are still on the road to 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours of watch time. We have gained 28 subscribers this month. Listen, I'm proud. So I'm thinking we could get there, if not earlier. We're gonna be at 1,000 subscribers by the summertime. So again, if you are watching the playback, hello, welcome. Like this video, subscribe, share it, tell everybody, and we'll get started. Okay, so you might be surprised at the first career title, but I was like, oh, duh, that was a no-brainer. The first job you can have or career that you can have as a mental health professional that requires no formal education. Now, of course, you will have to learn something. You will have to learn skills and different tasks and keep up on, certain information. But you can literally have zero education and become an owner. Yes, you can open your own mental health agency and you will hire the clinical staff. Now, after I went through my list, I was like, how could I forget that? I'm not sure. I think we underestimate soft skills like leadership and research and things like that, and relationship building. I think we underestimate it, but you absolutely can open your own mental health business and not have any formal education. So keep that in mind. Now, if you are watching this and you are not in the state of Virginia, I suggest you do your own deeper research about how to open a mental health business, what licenses you are required to have. But I'm in Virginia, so I know you can open a mental health agency and not have one degree. All you have to do is learn, get the required licensing, get the required clinical staff. Make sure of course, you need money. But if you are interested in providing a mental health service to your community, you can absolutely open the business and not do the clinical work. So that is career number 1. So let's add that. I'm also eating, y'all, because I'm hungry. You're just gonna have to hear me smack a little bit. I have not eaten all day, and I do not like hunger. So I'm gonna put owner in here in the first slot. Now, the nature of duties. I hope you guys can see this if you're on your phone. Now, when you are a mental health agency owner or organization owner, you do a lot. I would say the nature of duties is leadership. Heavy on the leadership. Whatever you think leadership is, that's what you're going to do. Now, you're not going to be doing the clinical work, but you absolutely have to do the research about, again, what licenses you need, who you need to hire, what type of program you want to provide. Here in Virginia, you can have an outpatient business. That's just the talk therapy. But if you want to have a community-based business where you go to people's homes and provide mental health services, you have to get licensed under a whole nother entity, DBHDS. So while you don't go to formal school, you are definitely going to be consistently educating yourself. That is factual. So don't think because you don't require the formal education that you will not be learning. So again, the first career choice or career, if you're interested, an option would be opening your own business, your own mental health business. And this includes for-profit, nonprofit, or volunteer agency. Again, that would probably be under nonprofit because how are you going to make money? But definitely everything leads back to leadership. So if you're a person that likes to develop things, likes to come up with ideas, and you are interested in providing a mental health service, maybe this could be an option for you. I would say education required, none. No formal education. And then I would say continued education required. Ongoing. No, I just say continued. And then in the comment section, I will put licensing information varies by state. Now, before we move on to career number 2, a second type of mental health professional career, I will say this. You will have to, depending on the state you're in, you will also have to have knowledge of the different positions that you need, even though you are not required to fulfill the clinical duties. Remember, this is your business. So let's say you want to open up an entire medication management office. Of course, if you don't have the formal education, you don't have to go to school to get a license or become a psychiatric, specialist. However, you need to understand what the person you're hiring is going to need. What credentials do they need? How much are they seeking to get paid? How much money can you make? So you are literally probably you're going to need to know triple the information. But again, you're the owner. So of course you would probably reap the benefits of it. But just keep that in mind. So career number 1 as a mental health professional, think about opening your own business. 2, direct support professional. Let me go back here. Okay, so a direct support professional is somebody who works directly with clients who have some type of mental health issue or need, and you are there directly with them. Now, I was a direct support professional for about 7 years. I worked in a group home, and my clients were dually diagnosed, meaning they had a mental health diagnosis in addition to a medical diagnosis. So that is where I got the bulk of my experience. Now, with a DSP, direct support professional, you might need a high school diploma, and then you might need experience working directly with people. And that can be maybe like the elderly population. You might have done some hospital work. You don't typically have to have that mental health experience because they'll train you for that. But you do have to have a history of being able to do that type of work. Now, I will say this. If you're not big on people, if you're a person that says you don't like people, I don't think mental health is going to be for you. And I say that I am so serious. This type of work is for a person who understands the nature of interacting with people. People are finicky. People change. We have moods. We go through different things in life. And then on top of that, when people are struggling mentally, it's not going to always be super easy. You might get the brunt of that. You have to be a person that understands the population that you're working with. Just had to put that in there. But a DSP here in Virginia usually does in-home work. like group homework. So you might see DSPs in the community service board. Again, like I work, there were 12 individuals in the home, and we would work in the home and work directly with them. We would take them to their appointments. We would help them learn new skills. We will feed them. We will support them with their hygiene. This was considered mental health professional work as well, because not only did they have a medical issue, they had mental health diagnosis. So that was like my lead way into actually working into the mental health field. So maybe that could be something for you. Let's go back to the document, because I want you guys to have this information. Okay, so the second career career option you can have as a mental health professional is direct support professional. The nature of the duties, I will put household and community support. Now, I can always go back and do more in-depth videos, but just for this live tonight, we're just going to keep it very general, just to give you the information, to give you something to think about. Education required. I would say high school diploma. And I say high school diploma because the CSB and the Community Services Board and like small agencies usually require the person to at least have finished high school. And I'll say or more. I would say high school diploma or more. And then experience. Over here, I will put some experience in the helping field. And when I say the helping field, helping, any field where you have directly helped someone. So maybe you are a CNA and you want to work in the mental health field. You may have told yourself, well, I can't really work in the mental health field because I don't have any experience. Don't let that stop you, because again, you have experience working directly with clients or patients. The organization that hires you is going to see that as, a skill, a much needed skill. And then you can get the training in regards to the certain population, the mental health population, to add on to that. So if you're watching this and you are a CNA, you are a companion person, a companion care person, or you've done any type of direct support work and you've never worked in the mental health field, you might, and you're interested in that, you might want to look into jobs where it says DSP or direct support in regards to mental health. There may be, something there for you. Okay, let's check the comments. All right. Let's go to, before we go to the third career, let's look at soft skills versus hard skills. Now, I wanted to talk about hard skills versus soft skills because, again, just because some of these jobs say you don't need formal education or a master's degree, you're definitely going to have a lot of those soft skills: management and leadership, critical thinking, creativity, problem solving. That's going to be a big asset if you are looking to start a career in mental health, or you want to try your hand at any of these mental health careers and you want to become a mental health professional. Problem solving is going to be it. Because guess what? You are working with people who have problems, specifically mental health issues and problems, and they are looking to you for support. They are looking for you to collaborate with them, depending on the role, depending on the career choice. They are looking to you to answer the problem for them, or at least help. So if you don't like problem solving, I don't know if it's going to be for you. But if you are still interested, think about your soft skills. So again, whatever work you're doing now, what soft skills have you learned? And you can definitely bring them over to the mental health field. All right. Let's get back to our document. Okay. Mental health professional career 3, a peer support specialist. A peer support specialist is someone who has a history of they are in recovery, either for a mental health diagnosis in recovery or a substance related diagnosis. They have firsthand experience, and this is one of the careers that's growing really fast. So, if you have firsthand knowledge of what it's like to have a mental health diagnosis and you have done the work and you mental health or substance use, and you've done the work and you feel like I want to help other people, well, there's a lane for you. Peer support specialist. Again, I am in Virginia, so a lot of these things that we talk about here, I'm referring to the state of Virginia. So if you are interested in peer support work, I would Google peer support specialist or peer support jobs, and then Google the city you're in or Google the state you're in. But yeah, here in Virginia, you have to, I think you take a course and you take a test, and you also, they take in consideration like your journey. Like you get interviewed and you get to tell your story. And it's very important because many of us, when we do substance use work and even mental health work, a lot of us don't have firsthand experience in some areas. So we have to rely on the client, and sometimes there might be a disconnect because we might not be able to be as empathetic as we should be because we don't know what it feels like. But peer support specialists do. Some of them have had their own struggles and are in their own recovery journey, so they can speak directly to some of the struggles that our clients experience, and it's helpful. It gives us an insight as to how to help our clients better. Okay, so the nature of duty. So a peer support specialist will also do things that a direct support professional would do, like help go into the community, go to the clients' homes, help them complete daily activities. They also would do documentation. The only difference is they have a different insight because they have been in the client's shoes before. So I think it helps with being more empathetic and giving us knowledge, coming back and telling us what works, what doesn't work. So the nature of duties is, I would say, direct support professional, and then education required, I would say high school and personal experience. Okay. Mental health professional career number 4. Here in Virginia, QMHP. This is a qualified mental health professional. This is a designation that was developed about 6 or 7 years ago. I think some of the programs were having trouble with distinguishing who was qualified and who wasn't qualified to provide mental health services. So the state of Virginia and some of the governing bodies got together and they came up with some criteria for people to get qualified and to have this credential. So you could be designated, and when people see that QMHP, that credential, they know you are qualified to work with the mental health population. We're going to go to the Virginia Board of Counseling website so you can get an idea of what is required to become a QMHP. Now, the nature of duties of a QMHP, it can vary. A QMHP can do what a peer support specialist does, what a direct support professional does. They can also do programs that I mentioned before under the DBHDS organization. That's the governing body that provides mental health licensing in Virginia. They can do community-based work. They can work in hospitals. QMHPs can do they can do a lot of stuff. I would say assistance with I will put let me go back. I would just put mental health interventions, because I'll keep it really general. I don't want to get too specific because this live will go on and on and on. Again, if you want me to do more in-depth videos for each of these careers, make sure you like, subscribe, put a green heart in the comments, and let me know what you want a full video on. Education required for mental health professionals. Now, let's go. Virginia Board of Counseling. All right, so here we are. We're gonna look on the Virginia Board of Counseling. What's our time? Okay, we're good timing. 30 minutes. So if you are in Virginia, this is your pit stop for counseling and counseling related career stuff. So we're gonna look up QMHP qualifications. So if you scroll up and you go over here, it says QMHP information. And this where you could find all the information about becoming a qualified mental health professional in Virginia. And it says, here's the latest regulations. Here's some frequently asked questions. And when you get a chance, you can look over it. Let's go over some frequently asked questions in regards to registration requirements. Qualified mental health professional, or QMHP, includes qualified mental health professionals adult and qualified mental health professionals child. They will provide services as an employee or independent contractor of the Department of Behavioral Health and Developmental Services, as a provider licensed by the department. Are QMHPs required to register with the Board of Counseling in order to provide services? Yes. So here in Virginia, if you would like to be designated as a QMHP, you have to be registered with the Board of Counseling. Some of the qualifications are you have to have a bachelor's degree, and they have certain bachelor's degrees that qualify under the QMHP. You have to have a certain number of hours of supervision. You have to be supervised by a licensed person. When you guys have time, come to the site if you're interested in becoming a QMHP. I'm going to put this link in our document in the comment section, and I'll put it here too. And I will put governed by, I'll put the link under education required, and then in the comment section, so anyone who looks at the governed by DBHDS in Virginia. If you have any questions so far about being an owner, being a direct support professional, being a peer support specialist, or a qualified mental health professional, go ahead, put your question in the comment, and if you're watching the playback, I'll get back with you. All right. Look at these curls. I just got my hair done today, you guys. I usually wrap it when I get home. End up getting home late, 30 minutes before the live. Had to jump on live. So I'm giving you usher board. I'm giving you nice Southern woman, only been with one man. I'm giving you, I do not say cuss words. I'm giving you holy. Yes, I'm giving you all of that. I'm giving you choir director, healthy hair, never had color. That's what I'm giving. But yeah, so that's why my curls so tight, y'all. Don't play with me. Don't play with my usher board curls. All right, let's get back to career number 5. So another type of mental health professional career you could pursue is certified substance abuse counselor. Here in Virginia, you can become a CSAC, certified substance abuse counselor, with a bachelor's degree. plus experience. That is how I was able to get my certification. I had a I had a master's degree, but my master's degree was not a clinical master's degree, but I had experience. So we're going to go back to the Board of Counseling website so I can show you where you can get the information. All right. So let's go back to the Virginia Board of Counseling site. Now, if you are interested in being, some people call it being a drug counselor, being an addictions counselor, a substance abuse or substance use counselor here in Virginia, your one-stop shop is, again, the Board of Counseling site. So let's go. Let's go back. Now, before we get into the site, this type of work is equivalent to mental health counseling work, but your focus is addiction. So you are required to, of course, have the education, have the hours, the experience, and you're going to be required to take the NCAC-1. That is a national examination for addiction counselors, and many of the states require it for any addiction counselor to be designated with that credential. So you can't just graduate from college. Well, in Virginia, you can't graduate from college with, let's say you have a bachelor in addictions or psychology or whatever your degree is, and you would have to get additional experience with working with the population, which people who have struggled with addiction. Then you would have to study and take the addictions counselor exam, NCAC-1. So we're starting to get into careers that require a little bit more education, and they're more clinical in nature. So anytime you have careers that are clinical in nature, you're going to be required to do a bit more, because it's serious now. The other careers are serious as well, but when you get into clinical work, so if you are not interested in clinical work, these last careers might not interest you. But if you're more interested in admin work or doing like the direct support work, the first 4 careers might be to your liking. All right. CSAC, Certified Substance Abuse Counselor. All right, let's see. I kind of like building the document together like this. It takes the pressure off me. Let's see. Board members. Let's search it then. CSAC. Virginia. Here we go. All right. Are we right back at square one? What? Okay, guys, I'm coming. Supervised information, handbooks. Where is CSAC? And I got my glasses on and still can't see. QMHP, supervisor information, online handbooks. Okay. Here we go. CSAC, Certified Substance Abuse Counselor and Certified Substance Abuse Counseling Assistant. So you could be a full-on counselor or you could be an assistant. Here's the handbook. Hold on, let me go. All right. I'm going to put this link on our document so anyone who's interested can go through. Okay. Certified Substance Abuse Counselor, Addiction and Mental Health Interventions. Then here's the link. Same thing over here, governed by DBHDS in Virginia. All right, our document is coming together. Again, if you are watching this and you are not in the state of Virginia, go to Google, put in certified substance abuse counselor, your state, or addiction counselors in your state, or drug counselor in your state, or drug counselor qualifications, and you will be able to find out who is the governing body in your state that oversees certifications and licensing. And you can go from there. But for this lab's purposes, we are addressing Virginia residents. Okay. Our next career, if you're interested in becoming a mental health professional, is now we're getting into the licensing. We're gonna do all of these like lumped in together. Here in Virginia, in order to be a licensed mental health professional, when you see LMHP or you see licensed mental health professional referred to, they are talking about a psychiatrist, a psychologist, a psychiatric nurse practitioner, a psychiatric physician assistant, an LPC, a LMFT, or LCSW. Those are the licensed mental health professionals that they are referring to in the state of Virginia. So I'll just put license. We'll clump 6, 7, 8 together. 9 really, because a psychiatrist is a physician. So how about this? We'll put a psychiatrist by themselves because they're technically a physician. But all the other licensed mental health professionals we'll just put here together. And we'll go through just briefly what each means. And because LPC, LMFT, LCSW, they all have similar tracks. It might be small differences in education requirements and residency hour requirements, but generally it's pretty much the same. Small differences and differences in like things they can do in regards to billing and stuff like that. But generally, LPC, LMFT, LCSW, and then we'll lump them together, and then we'll put the NP, which is nurse practitioner, psychiatric nurse practitioner, because with nurses, you guys have to get, even if a person has a nurse practitioner license, in order to work in psychiatric nurse as a psychiatric nurse practitioner, they have to get like an additional certification in mental health. Correct me if I'm wrong. If you are watching and you are in the nursing field, please put in the comment section exactly what a nurse needs in order to work as a psychiatric nurse practitioner. All right. NP. So we don't want to complicate things. Okay, so we'll put NP. And then I'll also just put LPN, and I'll put RN and LPN. Because you can work in a mental health setting and still be a RN, LPN. And then down here, I will also put physician assistant, PA, with the psychiatric experience. And then here I will put, matter of fact, I want to add something. Do I want to put psychologists? I'll put the psychologists because I think sometimes they need a little bit more schooling than the licensed mental health professionals. Correct me if I'm wrong. If you're watching the playback, please comment and let me know if I'm wrong. I wanted to put it in order of least amount of school required to most amount of school required. So we might have to flip that. But either way, y'all get it. And then here I'll put MD, physician. And under your MD physician is going to be your actual regular doctors who might go on to get mental health experience, or your actual PCPs, they are allowed to prescribe mental health medications. So they are absolutely considered mental health professionals. And then your psychiatrist, not to be confused with the psychologist, the psychiatrist is considered a medical doctor. So here I put PCP and psychiatrist. And your psychiatrist can be a psychiatrist that just provides the medication, or they can be a counseling psychiatrist where they prescribe medication and they provide counseling services too. So if you're still watching, now you're getting into the careers that require more schooling, because you're getting into deeper clinical stuff. And you have to have certain types of mental health training to provide these types of services, whether it be actual clinical counseling, clinical interventions, medication, all of that. So this is where you're going to need, at minimum, a master's degree and some free hours of work, meaning several internships, residencies. This is when you get into the 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 and beyond years of schooling. Because you got to know what you're doing. You're going to be dealing with the people and doing the clinical stuff. You really have to have that experience. Let's see if we have any comments, y'all. All right, let's go ahead and finish up. We're on good timing too. So in the state of Virginia, in order to be considered a licensed mental health professional, you have to, now we're going to go back to the Board of Counseling briefly, but again, I'm going to provide the link and you can go do deeper research yourself. You're going to be required to have at minimum a master's degree, a program that's accredited. And then you're going to have to complete a number of hours of internships and practicums and residency. And then you're going to have some type of licensing examination that you have to take. Now, the LPC, that stands for Licensed Professional Counselor. We have our own test. I am currently a resident in counseling. And when I finish my hours, I will take the test to become a licensed LPC. You also have licensed marriage and family therapists. They have their own licensing exam that they take. And then you have the licensed clinical social worker, and they also have a separate exam that they take. All of those designations are considered licensed mental health professionals. They just have slight differences. Like I think LCSW has less hours that they have to take. Don't quote me on that, but there's differences in hours and stuff. Similar, but not exactly the same. Again, I will post the links on this document and you can do a deeper dive. I think a lot of my colleagues, when we were in our master's program, a lot of them went back and forth as to which one they wanted to pick. I think if I would have had more information, I probably would have went with LCSW or LMFT because of the being able to work with different organizations. Like the military really likes LMFTs and LCSWs. They will hire LPCs, but I've seen more often in like career posts where they want to partner with licensed social workers. Social workers tend to be seen more as family friendly, like having that experience with working with the whole entire family. LMFT too. So I think that's the difference. However, LPCs can also work with families. So again, if you're interested in getting into the careers that require longer, more education, really do your research. Take a deep dive and figure out what your dream career is and what do you want it to look like after you finish your master's program. And that's when you can get into the smaller differences and the nuances of the licensed professionals. So nature of duties. With licensed professionals, they diagnose. I will put mental health interventions, and then in the parentheses I will put diagnose. Because when you get into licensing, this is where you have legal ability to diagnose someone with a mental health disorder or mental health issue. Everything above, well, certified substance abuse counselors too, but they're more so on the addiction side. So they can diagnose someone with alcohol use disorder, narcotic use, things like that, but not so much, not mental health, more addictions. So anything below a certified substance abuse counselor, you would do more interventions, but they're not, you're not going to diagnose. Does that make sense? I hope I'm not confusing you. So if you're paying attention, the more education you have, the more you're going to get into diagnosing and giving medication and giving more clinical professional impressions versus direct hands-on. So if you're still on the fence about what you want to do in the mental health field, ask yourself, do you want to do more clinical stuff? Or do you want to do more hands-on stuff? It's not which one is better, because all of these careers are needed. Every single one. Every single career that we list here, from owner to direct support professional, from peer support specialist, all the way to licensed professionals and doctors. Every single one is needed. You just have to decide what is best for you. Because a lot of people, they initially start off saying, oh, I want to be LPC. I want to be a licensed counselor. And then when they get into their program, they start to find out, well, oh, this is not really for me. I really just want to help a person. I just really want to go directly and provide, some advice, some support. Well, you can provide support as a direct support professional. And then they're like, oh man, I don't think I really wanted to do all this clinical work. So really take a deep dive, research, do some reflection, and figure out what you want to do, or what you at least think you would enjoy first. Because more education doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to enjoy the job. And you don't want to spend all that money on them degrees and then be like, I hate it. You don't want to do that. Really think about what type of work you would enjoy doing, and then start to do more research. Okay, so back to LPC, LMFT, and LCSW. So they're doing mental health interventions, including diagnosing, assessments, I would say deep clinical. I'll just put clinical. I don't know why I like to add extra words. I'll put clinical based. These are clinical based duties. Education required. Minimum master's degree. So with your licensed positions, masters. I'm not even gonna hold you. A master's is the minimum. I'm not even talking about extra certifications and extra trainings and the residency and the internships and the postgraduate stuff. Minimum, you going to school 6 years. Is that what you want to do? If that's what you want to do, let's do it. Let's do it. But a lot of people get intimidated about that. But I would say this. If this is your passion, this is something you really want to do, don't look at the time that it takes to finish the degree. Look at the benefits. Look at the career that you will be building. It's going to go by so fast. I happen to have 2 master's degrees, and both times I was like, that's going to take too long. I do not have time. I do not want to read. I do not want to write. I just want to work. But of course I can't do that, right? In order to provide outpatient counseling, there were certain additional education requirements. So I just buckled down, and before you knew it, I was done. So again, if you are interested in becoming a licensed mental health professional, 6 years minimum, probably 8. And if you want to get into psychiatry and MD stuff, that's more schooling, more clinical stuff, more free hours, but that's you getting better at your career. Got it? Got it. So education requirements for the licensed professional, minimum master's degree. And for Virginia, again, we'll go back to the Virginia Board of Counseling site. And you can always go to the site and get all of the information. You can do a deeper dive. I can hear you, Lyndon. That's my son. Doing bottle flip challenge. Okay. So, next, psychologist. So a psychologist is going to be, the requirement is going to be a master's. And if I'm not mistaken, a counseling psychologist requires a doctoral degree. Now, I'm not going to do a deep dive. Again, if you are watching this and you are a psychologist or you happen to know the exact credentials that a counseling psychologist needs, please put it in the comments and educate us, because this live is not for that. But if you want a video on it, I would be willing to do some research on it for you guys. These last three are not my wheelhouse. I'm just giving you basic information because these are my colleagues. These are people who I work with often. So I'm aware of the career, but I don't know the exact credentialing and the process to get there. Maybe I could bring somebody up here, because my best friend is a nurse practitioner, and she knows psychiatric nurse practitioners, or she would know the route that somebody could take. So I can bring her up here. I could bring other other medical based professionals to get some more accurate information. But I do know a psychologist is going to do the same thing, clinical interventions. In Virginia, a psychologist, like LPC, LMFT, and LCSW, we do clinical interventions, but we do not prescribe medication. We do not have prescribing ability. Legally, we cannot prescribe medication. In Virginia, I'm not sure about other states, but we are considered licensed mental health professionals. We can diagnose, we can provide clinical interventions, we can counsel, but we cannot prescribe. I would say for psychologists, minimum doctoral degree. Did I say it right, y'all? Now, I'm not sure if that's under, let's see. Let's do some research real quick. For Virginia, psychologist, Virginia Board of Counseling. Let's see what comes up, because I'm not sure if the psychologists in Virginia register under the Virginia Board of Counseling or the Board of Health Professionals. I don't see it. Something to look into. Okay, let's go back to our document. Okay, so now we're moving on to 8, 9, and 10. We're getting into your medical professionals, not just mental health, but mental health professionals who have a medical base. So this will be your physician assistants, nurse practitioner, and your other nursing staff. They can provide clinical interventions with a medical foundation. I like that phrase. And they have prescribing. So physician assistant and nurse practitioner have prescribing abilities. So they can prescribe medication. There you go. So if you want to be able to provide medication and do a lot of, so this is where you get into more schooling. So you have to do a longer residency, because now you are considered more medical. And that is physician assistant. And you can specialize in mental health or psychiatric services, a psychiatric nurse practitioner, where you have to get all of the education that the nurse practitioner gets in addition to a psychiatric certification. And then as an RN and LPN, you can't prescribe, but you can work as a nurse in a psychiatric facility. So you can give meds and, but you won't be prescribing. But PA, NP can't prescribe. So this is where you're getting into longer requirements for school. Here, I would say minimum, 8 years plus. So you'll do the master's plus a residency. I'm not sure if they call it a residency, but we'll call it that for now. It's where you got your training wheels on, you doing everything you're supposed to do, you learning in school. And then the last group is your MDs, your straight up MDs, your doctors, your PCPs, and your psychiatrists. These are the people who are doctors. So if you would like to be a medical doctor, of course, they do clinical interventions. As a medical doctor. And y'all already know how long school is for them. How long? I would say minimum. So they have the undergraduate 4, 5, 6. And how long is medical school? I would say minimum 10 years. Minimum 10 years of school. And then plus residency. And now we'll go to the Virginia. If you're in Virginia, if you want more information about any of the medical positions, you will go to the Department of Health Professionals. Virginia DHP. And if you notice, the Board of Counseling is under the Department of Health Professions umbrella. But if you want to do any medical, just straight up medical stuff, you will go to the Health Professions website, and then that could be alive in itself, just navigating the website. Okay, let's go back. So I'll put the link here for both the medical. And there you go. So let's do a quick recap. There are a few options if you are interested in working in the mental health field. You don't necessarily have to have a master's degree if you are not interested in doing clinical work. You can own an agency. So the first career we went over was owner, admin. This is the person who sets everything up, who establishes the organization, but they hire clinical staff to do it. You can absolutely do that and be considered a mental health professional because you are contributing to mental health services in your community. The second career was direct support professional, which is a person who works directly with someone hands-on, doing like household, helping them learn household skills, taking them in the community, teaching them things about their mental health, supporting them to their appointments, directly helping them. Again, we're starting with the least amount of education needed, and we're going to work our way up to the careers that require more education. So our third career is a peer support specialist. That's a person who has a history of having a mental health issue or an addiction issue, who is currently in recovery, and they are interested in working directly with clients to help them pursue recovery. This type of job doesn't require a college degree. Their personal experience is considered it is priceless because many of the health professionals, we don't have those types of experiences. So their knowledge is valuable and their experiences are valuable. Our fourth career mental health professional option we went over is qualified mental health professional. Here in Virginia, that is a designation for a person who has a bachelor's degree plus the experience to be designated as a mental health professional. You have to apply for that registration. and you apply under the DBHDS organization. That's the body, the organization overseeing body in Virginia who licenses mental health programs here. So if you don't live in Virginia, remember it's a quick Google. If you are interested in any of these careers, all you have to do is Google the career and the city you are in, and the state you are in, and you'll be able to get information. And they might call it something slightly different. So like I've seen in some states they call direct support professionals in-home specialists. They're doing the same duties. So you're gonna have to do some of your own homework, but generally these are some of the different options that you have in the field. Okay, so our next career we went over was CSAC, Certified Substance Abuse Counselor, which is also called an addiction counselor, a drug counselor. This is a person who's interested in providing clinical interventions and services to people struggling with drug addiction, or they even can provide counseling to family members of people struggling, because you also work closely with people in recovery, and learning those interpersonal skills needed after struggling with addiction. Again, in order to be certified, you will have to have a bachelor's degree plus a certain amount of hours, and you have to take a national exam, the NCAC-1. That is an addictions counselor exam that many states require. So if you are interested in becoming a drug counselor, again, in Virginia, this is the way to go. If you're in another state, Google addiction counselor certification, drug counselor certification, and then put your state in. You should be able to find some information. The next career option would be a licensed mental health professional. Here in Virginia, you can be a licensed professional counselor, a licensed marriage family therapist, or a licensed clinical social worker. Very similar, a few differences, not a lot of differences, but I lumped them together because it was just easier to do for the lab. But here in Virginia, you are required to have a master's degree for those careers, plus an internship, practicum, and a residency where you do 3,000 plus hours. And then you have to take a licensing exam in order to be designated as a licensed professional here in Virginia. You need a minimum of a master's degree. And on our document, I put the link to the Virginia Board of Counseling if you are interested in that. All of the information is there. The next career is a psychologist. They provide clinical interventions. And if you notice, we're getting up there where you require more schooling. You are required to have a minimum doctoral degree to be a counseling psychologist. And I don't have the link for that, but maybe I can go back in at some point and update it. Or if you have the information, you can put it in the comment section. The next career group we talked about is the nurses, the physician assistant and the nurses. So physician assistant, if you become a physician assistant and you want to specialize in psychiatric or mental health, you and the nurse practitioner, you both have prescribing duties. So the NP and the PA are like baby doctors. They are right there. They can do most of what a MD can do. It's like I've seen times where I've worked directly with a PA or NP and never even worked with the doctor, because and I would even go as far as to say this: the PAs and NPs are the heroes in this pandemic, because the doctors, the MDs, were swamped. Like, you could not find anywhere to get meds. Like, I had so many clients that would be like, I cannot find a medication management provider. And I will say the NPs really came through. The nurse practitioners, they saved the day. They worked their butts off. Like, they worked as the end. There were no doctors available. So again, if you are interested in being able to prescribe medications as a licensed mental health provider, that may be a route. It's not as much schooling, but it's still a lot of schooling. And it's still a lot of hard work. Because what did I say? In the pandemic, they worked equally, or if not as harder as hard as the physicians, because the physicians were, they did a good job too, but they were swamped. They didn't have any openings. So anyway, that is, now you're getting into your medical stuff. So you're gonna, those careers, you provide mental health clinical interventions with a medical foundation. They can prescribe. You get into your medication and stuff like that. Minimum 8 years, master's degree plus all of the hours in the residency. So if you are interested in being able to prescribe medications, get ready to go to school. That's just what it is. You have to go to school and learn and practice. It's serious work, much needed careers. But I like to tell people, if that's the direction, you got to be ready to go to school. I put the Department of Health Professionals link on the document, so you can go there and do much more research than I can ever do. And then lastly, the actual MD, the doctor, and a psychiatrist, not to be mixed up with psychologists. A psychiatrist is a doctor. So you are doing all of the stuff that doctors do to be able to get that credential. You are going to school minimum 10 years. And you're going to do a residency. And I think you do, certain extra stuff that requires you to learn more about mental health and psychiatry. So I also put the Department of Health Professionals link in the comment if you are interested in that. So this was very general, you guys. Hopefully I was able to enlighten you and you have learned more about your options for working in the mental health field. We need you. If you have a passion for it and you feel like you can help people or you can educate people, definitely get to it. Get to it. There are so many options. And this is just very general. I didn't even get into mental health educators because typically mental health educators have one of these careers first. But just for the sake to keep this live, concise, this is what we talked about today. If I helped you in any way and you have not already done it, please like this video and subscribe. And I will see you next Friday. I appreciate you for watching. Good night.